job, and it is good. It is good to be in partner with Jamal and also Andy. And every time I go to a public event, every day that passes, we just get closer and closer. We're just a few blocks away, having that $60 million YMCA that we all put in funding for to be open for this community. If you go by there, you see they've already dug out where the 2 pools are going to be. That's already going to be done. So I can't wait to see the councilman doing the backstroke in one of the but it's so good. Now remember, stay cool today, but it's going to be hot this entire weekend. You don't want anybody passing out like heat stroke. So stay cool, stay hydrated, drink lots of water. God bless you and I love you.
This is a public service announcement from your Councilman Show. On August 3rd, Saturday, August 3rd, 2 Saturdays from now, August 3rd, partner up with Fun in the Sun. We're going to have our Community Engagement Day Parade marching from East Chester down to Dunhill Road, where they're going into Evangelical High School. There'll be fun, games, food, and a gospel concert down in McClurkin. Make sure you talk to my office, make sure you're there, be a part of that day. It's a fun day for the 36th, the 36th to 83rd, as well as the 12th and the 16th Congressional District. Oh, I just saw somebody walking with some orange color. I'm going to pass it back to our senator, but I will see you all on August 3rd at our Community Engagement Day Parade, the parade.
Well, I was going to go, speaking of criminal justice, I was going to go to my DA who I love, but we fight like play cousins sometimes. But my predecessor, who paved the way for me in so many ways, whose reputation on criminal justice reform is you can't even touch it. I haven't touched it yet. I just want to hear from my predecessor and somebody that taught me a lot of government. Our Senator Emeritus, don't ever forget, make sure you call her Senator when you see her, Ruth Hassel Thompson.
Well, good afternoon. Timing is everything. But I am not going to keep you standing in this heat. It's a wonderful day today. I'm so appreciative of Jamal and the Senator and the work that he is doing and continuing to do in the 36th, and you have no idea the reputation that he has already begun to have on his own in Albany. Don't let him fool you with his modesty. They hold him up in high esteem as well. And you should be very, very proud of the young man who served you very, very well. All of it, you know, and let me just say this about the Northeast Bronx. I came here in 2000 to represent you and began to partner with some extraordinary people, all of which are in this yard today. And I want to tell you that the Bronx is better because we serve together as a team. And that is a very, very rare thing to have happen, as you can tell in Washington, D.C. But the 47 is a team, and you've got an extraordinary team that continues to serve and to do your work. So I'm so happy to be here with you today. I came to get my little ribs, but they told me it's only hot dogs. But that's okay, I don't need to eat the swine today. But no, I didn't say I didn't love the swine. I said I just don't have to eat it today. Right? Well, listen, have a wonderful, safe summer. And if you don't have a bottle of water, you need to grab one. Be sure to stay hydrated. Be well. Love you all.
Thank you, Senator. So I was getting ready to speak about her earlier, and we have a great relationship, and you should know every single day in her mind and in her office what she does to keep us safe, because nothing short of remarkable. And we speak about criminal justice reform, and nobody can tell me that Darcel Clark is not in favor of criminal justice reform. It's very clear that she wants to make things fairer in the justice system, and she's been doing that. She's made the Bronx District Attorney's Office a much more open and transparent place. And she's made it a better place and a fairer Bronx for all, but a safer Bronx for all. Ladies and gentlemen, our history-making district attorney, Darcel Clark.
Thank you, Senator Bailey. Good afternoon, family. How's everybody doing? All right. We gotta hold up in this heat now. Be careful. Drink a lot of water. I'm not gonna be out here long either because I can't take it either. But it's good to be out here to see all of our people from this Assembly District, Senatorial District, Councilman District, and I live in this district, so I may be the district attorney of the Bronx, but this is home for me. So I'm happy to be here with you all. God bless you all. All right, let's name the picks. I like that. I like that. Gladys. All right, so everybody have a good time. I mean, we are working hard, all of my partners in government that are here, to make sure that we keep the Bronx safe, and most importantly, that we make it fair. Jamal is right. We fight like cats and dogs and brothers and sisters sometimes, but in the end, I gotta tell you, I am so proud that once this reform finally came to make it fair for black and brown people, three people I feel were responsible in the state government. That's our Assembly Speaker, our co-chair Jamal Bailey, and the majority leader of the Senate, Engel. What a team. So if anybody should bring that fairness and reform in, I'm happy that it was them that brought it in. So God bless you all. Please stay safe.
Don't leave on the midnight train to Georgia just yet, guys. We gotta go back to find a better place in town. Brief announcement in between interludes. Saturday, July 27th, next Saturday, Butler Educational Street Fair, East 223rd between Colby and Laconia. It's not going to be as hot, so we need to have just as many people out there. So make sure you go and support Butler Food Fund Family Fellowship. You can't beat it. And what you also can't beat is our change makers and history makers. And we had a press conference earlier in the city of Mount Vernon, which also proudly represent that, you know, there's a young lady who's done something, was a first not just in the city of Mount Vernon, but in the county of Westchester, I'm told. She's the first woman mayor of the city. Well, she's a Democratic nominee. But if you live in Mount Vernon, you need to make sure you vote to make sure that she's going to be the first woman mayor in the history of the city of Mount Vernon. None other than Sean Patterson Howard. Miss Patterson Howard, please come on. Those of you who have double parks on the other side, please be mindful because there are people trying to leave. Miss Patterson Howard.
Thank you, Senator Bailey. To our Speaker Heastie and our Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins, who I spoke with earlier, to our Senator Emeritus, Nathalia Thompson, to all of our electeds, to the community of the Bronx. While I may not represent our Congressman Engel, while I may not represent the Bronx, we share the border. Our communities are, what, 2 minutes away? You just roll over the street and you're in Mount Vernon. And so I really look forward to working with our electeds here in the Bronx to do incredible things around education, criminal justice reform. I'm currently the president and CEO of the YMCA in Yonkers, so I'm excited and proud that you're getting a YMCA down here. So I'll be down here working with you. So I'm just really looking forward to doing whatever we can to do in Mount Vernon to support incredible efforts here in the Bronx, and vice versa. We got to support our young people, our families, our seniors, and our community. So I thank you very much. Bless you. Stay cool, hydrated, and have a great day.
Thank you. Starting on October 26th, one of the things that the new Senate Democratic Conference and new Assembly leadership, what we've gotten you is that we got you early voting, right? You no longer have to wait to vote just simply on one arbitrary day. You can now vote early. You can go from souls to the polls, you can leave church, and go right to the polls. But the next person I want to bring up is somebody who's been fighting for us in DC for a long time. And you know, some people know him because before this quote-unquote president we had, he used to sit on the aisle seat to make sure that he welcomed the respectful presidents that we've had. But since we've had this clown in the White House, our congressman hasn't been doing that because he respects you. Because he respects you because he knows that the man in Washington doesn't respect us up here in the 16th Congressional District. This is somebody who's been fighting. He's the chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee. He's been doing it for quite some time. He's going to do it for some more. Congressman Eliot Engel.
Thank you so much, Jamal. You know, let's have a round of applause for our great state senator, Jamal Bailey. You know, you watch him, he's got all the moves, he's smart, he's good looking, he has a wonderful family, and he's a great representative to all of us, even in Northeast Bronx. So, back and forth to Washington, we got to get that man out of the White House.
Get him out! Get him out!
To do it because the American people, in my opinion, cannot afford another term of Trump.
Oh, get him out!
Donald Trump.
Get him out! Call him any kind of Trump. Get him out!
Get him out! He ain't no good. We have lots of problems. People can't make ends meet. And by the way, I hope you all realize that just this week, the House, led by Democrats, just passed a raise in the minimum wage to $15 an hour. So that is a big, big boost. Trump couldn't care less, though. He's opposed to it. He just wants to help his rich corporate friends and others that give him campaign donations. So we've got a job. And the way you do that is you get out and you vote, and you vote, and you vote. And so that's what we need to do here in the Northeast Bronx. I've lived here since I was 12. And I got to tell you, the community keeps getting better and better. People keep working together. And we have outstanding elected officials like Senator Bailey. So great to see all of you. Those of you that got underneath and not in the sun, God bless you, those in the sun. Drink a little water. And we're going to keep on fighting for this wonderful community. And you know, people sometimes, the media, talks about the Bronx and says certain things that really annoy me about it. I wish the media could be here right now because this is the real Bronx, with concerned community people, with elected officials working together, with good streets, good shops, good schools. That's what the Northeast Bronx is all about. So I want to thank Senator Bailey. It's a pleasure working with him, and also with our great Councilman member Andy King. We are a team fighting for this area of the Bronx, and we're going to keep on keeping on. Thank you.
Thank you. Marco's next.
Marcos is next. Yes, Ms. Barber. I got it. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to forget my county chair.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Light it up.
The next person that's going to speak, we have a lot in common. We're fathers of 2 young daughters. I'm here. And most importantly, we're Mets fans. Yes, we're Mets fans. If you like the Yankees, there's no more food if you're a Yankees fan. The food just ran out if you support the New York Yankees. If you like the New York Mets, there's unlimited food and beverages. But more than just those things, he's proven himself to be somebody who has been able to be skilled at bridging a gap. And right now, there's a lot of divisive times, and they're talking about what the role of a county organization is and what it's not. And I can tell you what Marcos Crespo stands for. He stands for diversity, looking at the amount of women that we've appointed to the bench in the Bronx under his leadership. Look at the amount of women that we've elected to office under his leadership as county chief. I want you to look at the totality of circumstances and don't be fooled by Twitter. Twitter's not real life. All right? This man has been doing the right thing for us for quite some time. He's going to keep doing things for us as the Assemblyman of the 85th District in our county chair, Assemblyman Marcos Crespo.
Thank you, Jamal. It just goes to show you have the bravest senator in the world when he can admit to the borough of the Bronx that he's a Met fan. He and I share a lot in common, but let me first of all thank you all as a community, because you have proven to be not only a great turnout community, you get involved politically, but more importantly, you make some of the best decisions. When you look at the heart of an Andy King, when you look at the intelligence and the eloquence of a Jamal Bailey, when you look at the leadership qualities nationally of a Carl Hastings, and when you listen to a champion not only for Americans across the country, but for the entire world as one of the leading voices in the Foreign Affairs Committee in Eliot Engel, this community continues to elect outstanding leaders across the board, and you deserve a lot of credit for making sure you continue to support them. And I ask that you do, because Democrats, we got a lot of work to do. And I know I can't get too political here, but the fact of the matter is that when you have a president that can roll back time to those Jim Crow days, to the way in which he can say to 4 women in the U.S. Congress to go back where you came from, when the President of the United States can speak that way about women in government, then you know we have work to do, because we got to turn the tide. We got to take back this White House. We got to take back Congress. We got to start changing the narrative in this country, bringing people together. We can't be divided like this. And one last thing, because this is important not only for Jamal and for all of my colleagues that are here. He talked about what's happening in Twitter when people talk about county. For those of you who have lived your whole lives in the borough, I ask you to think about what the Bronx looked like 20, 30, 40 years ago. Think about the change, the transformational change. Yes, we got problems. Yes, we got work to do. But there's something else that Jamal and I have in common. We were raised to respect our elders. We were raised to respect those that open doors for us. We were raised to respect the history of work that has happened in our community. We're not here by chance or because we're so great. We're here because somebody paved the way for us and worked hard at a time when nobody paid attention to them. And so I tell you that because what Bronx County represents, what the Democratic Party in the Bronx represents, what we stand and fight for every single day is that history of work that's happened. And we're just trying to take that baton a little further along for the next generation. But I will be damned in this business. I will be damned politically if we're going to let somebody who just came in, somebody who just moved in, somebody who doesn't know us, who comes from another borough, who's going to tell us what's best for us without knowing what we've been through. And I say that because we need to start holding all those candidates not only accountable to how nicely they speak in a campaign trail, more importantly, where have they been with the body of work that we've been doing day in and day out. That's what we need to ask. That's the question of how we judge people. But I know that the history of leadership in this community will continue to prove and lead the way for the entire borough of the Bronx. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I usually wait until the end to thank my staff, but it's really hot, right? And what I want you to do is like, I want to say thank you, and I really appreciate the staff. You see the folks in the Bailey Bunch shirts, whether it's orange or blue, my staff and the interns, the ones that are running around making this stuff happen. Please give them a round of applause right now, because this doesn't happen without them. I appreciate them greatly, and we've been joined by a couple of my colleagues in the state senate, and we were talking about criminal justice reform earlier. And, you know, the Bronx is the epicenter of justice reform in the state, right? We've got a history-making DA. I'm the chair of the COAS, but the chair of the Crime Victims Crime and Corrections Committee. It's a really complicated title. Is a guy who's also no stranger to the work. If you lived in the 87th Assembly District, you were lucky to have him as your Assemblyman then. And if you're in the 32nd Senatorial District, you're really lucky to have him as your Senator now because he's a fighter. He's gotten driver's licenses for our undocumented brothers and sisters done. Green light. He passed the DREAM Act, so brothers and sisters, just because you weren't born here doesn't mean you don't have access to higher education. This man has had one HECK of a year. It's a church crowd here, not going to curse. Right. But Senator Sepulveda, he's had one hell of a year. Senator Louis Sepulveda, please come on up.
All right, thank you. Y'all having a good time?
Yeah!
Well, with the heat, with the help, it doesn't hurt us. We're going to continue to have a good time. But let me tell you, I got invited here. This is out of my Senate district. But I couldn't say no to Senator Jamal Bailey. I worked with him this year in the Senate. And I can tell you this. We have the speaker that represents this area, who has a great part of what happened with criminal justice reform in this state. But in the Senate side, other than our leader, Engel Cousins, the one person that was mostly responsible for the historic transformational changes that we have in our criminal justice system, so that it's no longer premised on the amount of money your parents have in the bank, on the zip code that you come from, or the color of your skin. The person who had a great part, one of the biggest part, in ensuring that our criminal justice system is fair to every single person that lives in the state is the person that represents you here in the Senate, and that's Senator Jamal Bailey, and for that he deserves a huge hand of applause. Tell me, when people were saying it couldn't happen, we couldn't do it, it was too much too soon, Senator Bailey said absolutely not. The fact that matters is that it hasn't happened soon enough. And he worked so hard with some of our members from the Senate, some of our members in government, to make sure that as of the day we pass our criminal justice reform package, the criminal justice system here in this state is now much fairer than it's been in the history of New York. And with that, we thank you, Senator Jamal Bailey. I'm honored to be here today celebrating with all of you. We're going to continue to reform the state. We had a historic legislative session where we reformed the state in so many ways. We brought the rights to undocumented immigrants and immigrants. We look out for them, make sure that undocumented immigrants don't have the right to drive and get a license, can take their children to medical appointments, go to school, and do things that we take for granted every day. But for that, we have to continue to mobilize. We have to continue to hold people's feet accountable. People that are holding children in cages. People that are telling women of color to go back to their countries. we have to hold them accountable. We have to stay awake and fight and make sure that in 2020, we elect more Democrats throughout the state and we remove that embarrassment that is holding the position of president in the White House today. So thank you, God bless, and let's continue to fight for the people of New York State.
Thank you, Senator Spaulding. Another one of my colleagues who he's done a lot of things and just, he came in at the end of a term and he did more work in 2 weeks than we got done in a whole 6 months. You know, this guy, one of our system majority leaders, he really has been a champion for criminal justice. He's been a champion for the people of the village of Harlem. And most importantly, he's been a champion for people of color throughout the city of New York. This young man, Brian Benjamin, has been doing so many great things to try to make sure that we divest from the for-profit prisons. He's doing a lot of great things in our community, and Harlem on the rise. You don't really want a problem with these guys. They Senator Brian Benjamin, the 30th Senatorial District.
First of all, you know you love Senator Jamal Bailey when you leave Harlem and there's hot sun to come to the Bronx. But I wanted to come here because, as I said last year, Senator Jamal Bailey is one of the best senators we have in the Senate. A lot of it has to do with the fact that he is an honest broker. He focuses on his community. Whenever he's making any decisions, he's thinking about you.
Thank you.
And that is why he has risen so fast, chaired the Coast Committee. I hear he's like top 100 power, this and that. He's doing all these, give him some love, okay? Because a lot of times they say, oh, well, you know, there's the next generation. I need to be a little bit above millennials, right? A little bit, kind of, sort of. You know, there's concern about the millennials and their interests and concerns for the community and a legacy and continuity. But in Senator Jamal Bailey, we know that the future of not only the Bronx, but the city of New York and the state of New York is bright because he's here and he's got a lot of runway behind him. So I just wanted to come by to let y'all know Harlem loves you. I was on the phone with Congressman Charles Engel. He said to send his love to the Bronx. And I just wanted to make sure that we stay united because guess what? As was mentioned just now by Senator Sepulveda, those folks in D.C., they're trying to keep us divided. You know, blacks over here, Latinos over here. They're trying to use all these tactics to keep us divided. But if we stay united, we will win. And so I want to make sure that Harlem and the Bronx is strong and that our community is strong and we're stronger together than we are apart. Thank you very much.
Senator Benjamin, thank you. It's like, if you like callaloo, same green vegetables, collard greens. If you like ackee and saltfish, you like bacalao. We're from the same family. We just call it some different things. Together, we are much stronger than we are ever going to be divided. Understand that when we talk about the Bronx and Mount Vernon, the same black and brown folks on Pittman. And then when you take 2 steps over, it's on Sanford, same black and brown folks. So don't get distracted by tribalism. But we have some great folks also serving us. And she's a member of the curly hair caucus, so she calls it, right? This young woman that represents the 80th Assembly District, she's come in hot. She's made sure she's made a great difference doing things. We represent Tracy Towers together, we represent Allison Avenue together, and she's doing a lot of great things for a lot of women of color. Ladies and gentlemen, Assemblywoman Nathalia Fernandez.
I know.
But I know I'm not the only one, so it's okay. But it's really great day to be out here. Thank you everyone to come out in this heat to celebrate together. You know, the good times of summer when each of us is eating together, dancing together, spending the afternoon together. And it wouldn't be possible without our great senator. Adding on to all the great things people said about Jamal, he really is a great leader. I'm only here 9 years ago, but I'm so fortunate to get such a great team. You've heard everyone before, around me. The Bronx is really loved. We have such a great ones that work so hard and they really know the value of our community. So I'm just grateful to be one of it. And thank you for
Thank you, Natalia. The next brother I want to introduce is somebody that I've known since we were young Democrats. And then when he said he was first running for the Assembly, I was like, but you're a young Democrat. How are you going to do that? How are you going to make change in leadership and government so young? And he just said 2 words, watch me. And we watched Victor Pichardo do great things in the 86th Assembly District. He is a force to be reckoned with. Keep an eye out for his name, Assemblyman Victor Pichardo.
Another round of applause for this young, dynamic man, leader of our community, Senator Jamal Bailey. Please give him another round of applause. So, I represent the west side of the Bronx. I came to show the east side some love. But more importantly, I want to thank my colleagues and their leadership. And I want y'all to remember this. There are going to be people who are coming into our communities basically saying everything that you've been doing is wrong. Everything that you've been doing and fighting for is wrong. And we have a better way. But I want you to remember, when those folks come to you and asking you for all sorts of things, you remember the work that the Speaker, Carl Hasey has done. You remember the work that Senator Jamal Bailey has done. You remember the work that the Democratic majority has done. And the Assembly majority has been holding it down for the state for decades. Remember that. Remember that. And it doesn't matter for us. You know, black and brown folk need to stick together. Because as soon as people start seeing a wedge, they're going to exploit that and they're going to conquer all of us. So remember that. So I just wanted to come here, show the east side some love from the west. As a senior Dominican representing in the state, I want you to know that we're showing some love to everywhere. The Bronx is in the house, and as long as we're in office, we'll continue to serve the needs of our boroughs, our district, but more importantly, the state. God bless. Gracias. Que Dios bendiga. Gracias.